All right, hello guys. So I am, yeah, I'm continuing off where we left off with the Inuyasha hair, and I think it is looking like pretty. It's looking better than what I had originally. I think we are getting somewhere with this. Um, Still some areas to fix up. So I guess if we look at the front profile, we still have stuff kind of sticking out. Um, I think we are getting better lift, and generally speaking, we are getting better length in terms of how everything is, I guess, kind of distributed. So it's more seamless. So I think we're making good progress here. This. Let's see what I have in my to do. Sorry about that. It is yeah 10:24 p.m. and I have work tomorrow, so I'm only gonna spend about an hour on this. But yeah, let's see on our to do sticky note. We have fix front bends, refine back bends, set up collisions with scalp to get better visualization. Okay, how should we go about this? I'm kind of tempted to go in and try to figure everything out in terms of setting up the collisions. I wonder if I can just kind of skip ahead and then backtrack. And maybe that'll give us better results in terms of how I'm actually grooming this. Maybe that'll influence how I set this up in the future when I actually, create the real hair for this big project that I'm trying to do. So yeah, why don't I try that? This up. All right. Let's go into here.
Try to not go too high, but at least enough to have the effects that I'm trying to achieve.
And here she's adding some frizz on the hair, which I don't I think I put,
So
or maybe oh yeah I did, but it's very minor. I mean, with this kind of hair, I don't think a lot of frizz, at least right away, is the best call. But that's again, we could always come back. So
what I could create is to add anything.
just
I'm
kind of
going to
skipping
go to
ahead.
the additional mask to I could so what I could create is to have for then later my guide level 2 is that I'll create a length attribute that I'll put there because I'm sure I'm going to need it later. So to do that, I'm going to create a guide mask. And I won't plug anything. I just want to go to the additional mask and create a lens mask. So as you can see, if I clamp it really high, it will just select the bigger ones.
Okay, so what she's doing is she's isolating the already created grooms
So
by
what I'm going
their
to do is
length.
to let it kind of like this. And before going to the guide LV2, I think I forgot to do one thing that I wanted to do is to have some guides that are shorter than the other ones. So I'll do this right now before going to the rest. So as it's something that will control the length, I just make sure I have it on the right area. So lengthing should be better to do at the very start because when you put a lot of effects then it will just remove some of the effects that you've put it if you do that afterwards. So try to find the smartest way to add what I want.
Hmm. Yeah, so from my understanding, what she's trying to do is create shorter guides that'll affect the groom. And she's setting up her attribute masks for that specifically, I
Okay,
think.
so now that I have that, I'm going to plug it to this. Alright, so now that I have this and I have a mask that I want to export, what I'm going to do is to clean everything to go to the LV2 guides. So the first thing I'm going to do is to check the collisions. As I can see, there is a bit of it, so I'm going to create a collide.
Okay, so here we go. So we create a collide VDB.
And I'll just plug the skin VDB we just created. That seems to be okay. So now that I've plugged it, I'll just check.
Okay, well, let's give this a try then. Um, Actually, hang on, let me just.
Again what it did. It did some part of it, but I'll need to force it to add again. You need to be careful using that because if you go too strong, it will start to move everything. So it's just going with just low values. And for the rest, what is not working is because I'm not doing a VDB only with my skin, but so all the hairs that I'm going on the floor, I'll need to have one for the floor too.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, in her case, yeah, she needs a VDB for the floor. Obviously, in our case, we don't need that. So, well, I mean, let's try this out. So, what was it? A guide collide VDB. So, let's give it a try. Drop in a guide collide with VDB. Attach those there. And now we need an object merge. And this will be our VDB. And I just need VDB here. I should be able to just drag and drop it like so. Is it in the object or the group? It should be the object field. Yep. And so if I just display that, whoa. Okay. Wait. Balance set has no valid resource. Okay. Not exactly sure what this is referring to. Hopefully I did this right. Oh yeah, I mean object merge, VDB. So yeah, right now I'm inside the head, and yeah, I'm just taking a look at some of these hairs that are just pushing through. So what settings was she playing around with?
So I'm going to check again. Now that I've plugged it, I'll just check again what it did. It did some part of it, but I'll need to force it a tad again.
So just offset and push it out. Well, I'm seeing something, but I'm seeing a lot of weirdness going on there. Yeah, right now I'm just trying to play around with the parameters just to see what this does. Push. Let's see. Surface offset. Surface. Volumes. I mean, in terms, to be honest. Oh, wait a second. Hang on. I wonder if this VDB is including everything. I guess. Hang on. Go back to the head geo. What does this include actually? It's VDB. I mean, theoretically, it's supposed to include everything. Ears. It's got everything. So, not sure why the area when I zoom in to the ears, that's not being pushed out. That so that's interesting. But I mean, let's keep playing around with it. Curve mask, visualize mask. Can I visualize? Hmm. See, like all these hairs at the top, they're like going through the skin. So how do I? Let's just set these all to default. If I do push them out, if I do this like to an extreme, I guess my question is why is it only affect some hairs and not the rest? How much do I have to really push this to get something? Yeah, you see what I mean? Hmm. Well, you can see that it's lifting. I wonder if it only really cares about the ends of the hairs if they collide. You know? Because look in the front. Actually, that's the back. But anyways, even so, let me see if I can bring up the documentation for this node just to get a better idea of how this works. Controls the effect of operations along length of each curve. Mm. Yeah, it's interesting. This is kind of going back to what I was suggesting that maybe this node only cares about the ends of the hairs. All right, just checking some messages. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little tricky. Keep reading this. So yeah, this is interesting. I guess how this node works is that you're able to directly control the operation effects along the length of the curve. So again, that's what I mean. Where it's like the collisions it's looking for is only at on the ends. I wonder if I use this. I think maybe if I which one was it? Effect position. Yeah, you can see how all the everything is being affected. But again, something that I'm wondering is that why is it only affecting certain hairs up here, for example, and not all the rest? I didn't separate all of the. I didn't separate the grooms, so the part is strange to me. Yeah, it's like even if I crank all the values, why aren't these hairs moving? And I don't have this connected to any mask necessarily, unless there's something wrong with this thing. Oh no, it's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
We need to go to the LV2 guides. What I'm going. Alright, so now with my skin, but so all the hairs that I'm going on the floor are. It did some part of it, but I'll need to force it a tad again. You need to be careful using that because if you go too strong, it will start to move everything. So it's just going with just low values.
I don't know. It's really weird why it's only affecting some hairs. Oh man, I'm already feeling tired. Um, yeah, I really don't know. Okay, well, I guess this push amount is just a value between 0 and 1, and this push range actually controls how that scales and how far out this can actually go. And I'm assuming I can push it pretty far out in that sense. Um, Offset surface. Not sure. I wonder if there's anything else in the documentation. Collision resolution. Unless there was an issue with the VDB. Wonder what all this bound set has no valid resource attached. Interesting. I mean, all the VDB data should be there, even if it's not showing 100% properly. All the VDB data should be there. Are they lined up? Well, yeah, I guess so. I wonder. Let's see something. No, that's checked. Yeah, so what I remember from another tutorial by a Sony TD, I believe, or Sony Effects Supervisor, is when they were playing around with VDBs, is that they only, for the sake of, I guess, efficiency, the VDBs only calculate certain information on the outer layers of the actual object, um, but not the actual insides, which is where that fill interior comes in. but that's checked on. So yeah, I didn't know if that was going to do anything specific. Yeah, interesting. I wonder if it does have to do with anything with the parameters up here. Sub geometry. I specify it's my BDB out. Scatter create guys. Guide properties display optimization. File cache. Nope. Nope. I got nothing there. Yeah, so I mean, from what I understand, this basically controls the influence of these parameters on certain parts of the length of the hair. So right now I have it set to affect more of the root than the ends of the hair. Oh, but I also see what's doing. Like it's only lifting up. It's only lifting up like the roots. But it's keeping the end stationary. So I guess like would I not want something in the middle? So something like so then but I guess I just have to be aware that I can't push it so much. Yeah, it's weird that I could only push this so much. Do you think the yeah, like see what I mean here, especially because like I'm essentially creating like bold spots, but then I guess I can change that with the lift. To be honest, I probably should change it with the lift. But it would be nice if the collision is like can handle it. I'm just wondering what other guide related nodes there are. Guide process set direction, guide skin attribute lookup, generate guide interpolation with mesh, guide tangent space. I feel like I should kind of read up on the Houdini subnodes. Down here. They are subnodes, are they not? Groom blend. Blends the guides and skins from two grooms. That's interesting. Guide advect, we know what that does. Guide collide with VDB. With VDB sign distance fields. I mean, if this is checked off by default, the distance field is signed. So no negative bias. I just wonder what happens if I do check that. Does that affect anything? I don't know. It is interesting that it is, giving these kind of results on only specific hairs. That's something I have to kind of revisit, I guess. But let me take a quick look at the rest. Deforms geometry with an animated skin. So this will be useful later on, but this is for interactively modifying the grooms, which we want to do mostly procedurally. So I mean, it's not going to help us so far. To be honest, I feel like I can get the look that I want a lot easier and quicker if I were to just interactively do this. But I guess the whole point is to be able to learn how to set this up procedurally, in order to get the look that we want. But yeah, let's keep going. Guide group, create standard primary groups from coming soon by Oh, this is that's cool. To be honest, maybe I could have used that for the hair or the front and back portions of the hair. Interesting guide process. We know how this works. That's interesting. Suppose it does that for every point of the curve. Let's see, guide transfer. This is handy. Clumping. But yeah, as far as guides go, I think the guide format applies. Yeah, I mean, there's only so many tools at my disposal. Yeah, this applied with VDB. Yeah, I kind of figured I would have thought that it would have been a little bit more easier to use than anything. But I guess if I want to fix these, like, basically bolt spots on his head, I should really be using the other tools, like the lift tools. So, you know what? Let's bring this over here. Let's get back to this then. Is it the bend or is it the lift that's affecting this? I'd say it's the lift. So we have to go back to our lift map. Okay. Lift map. Lift map values. These attribute paints are what are they? They're being put on the what? The points? Yeah, I guess these attributes are being put on the points, right? Yeah, these are all point attributes. So I wonder what were to happen if I were to put them as a primitive attribute. Do I get a better visualization? And maybe that's what I should have been doing all along. Attribute, float, paint. I don't know if I can set. I'm just missing it. Smooth, paint over mode, shape. Attributes. Wait, no. Hmm. Yeah, it has to be a float, but it's just on what? Skin attribute. Oh, that's why. I guess I have to up or decrease the resolution on the VDB to get it to like show up in the viewport properly. Okay, that's interesting, but it's good to know. Um, but yeah, getting back to that. Yeah, because these attributes are being put on the points and for the primitives.
Welcome to the masterclass on Attribute Paint. I'm Jeff Late and I will be going over all. I hit Shift Enter here to place the node immediately and move the display. That should be of interest. I hit Shift Enter here to place the node immediately and move the display flag. It's a kind of a faster way to get going. And by default here, I can start painting on Tommy, and we can see I've got this infrared heat map looking mask being drawn on Tommy wherever I paint. But there is something on here, namely Tommy has strangely turned purple. This is because this is using a visualizer. So if I go over and right click on this visualizer, you can see the mask visualizer is on right now. And this is drawn on top of Tommy's natural texture colors. So we go from the normal Tommy, and then we add the blue overtones, and we get this strange purple look to it. Now there's an option here in the view display to turn off materials, which is kind of a fast way if you want to just go to straight paint mode with your models without getting in the way of any materials. So that doesn't remove the materials, it just disables them from display. So I'll have that off for most of this discussion. This nice reset all changes. It's great for demo purposes like this because I can keep resetting to the start. So let's run through some of the different brushes and features we have in Attribute Paint. The first set is to look at our default brush here. This is a volume brush, and I can
Does that have to do with my display options or something? Like visualize. Auto wrap class primitive. Nope. Just keep this as auto. I am asking a question to ChatGPT about this really quick because this has always bothered me. Like why the visualization is only happening on the edges instead of like the whole primitive, I guess. Maybe I should just leave this for another time. Let me just see if I can try to fix these bald spots. Just sending a message. Just 1 minute. Okay. So, whoops. Okay. So we're getting values of about about 0.5. So as we keep going, I think we need to stay to 0.5. So let's try this. It's a little bigger. Okay, maybe 0.5 is too low. Maybe I need something like 0.7. Yeah, right now I'm just trying to smooth this out as much as possible. Now here I need a little bit more then. I see, this is what I mean. This is where like the bend really has to come in. So the bend and the lift really have to work together here. My spare time, I have to take a look at like other tutorials that are procedurally doing character grooms, especially big ones like these. And I'm just trying to fill this out as much as I can. Yeah. I don't know. Well, at least it's like a little bit more fuller in that sense, and it's not. Well, I don't know. Still work to be done. And look at that. We're getting some stuff in there too. Yeah, I think I have to look up also like other tutorials on how to procedurally set this stuff up and work with this because this is very difficult. I need to. I think it's more about techniques than knowing what the actual tools do. I guess something to keep in mind is that lift and bend really have to work together. Okay, I think I'm just gonna save this. I'm just gonna call it a night. One thing I want to try to do before I go. Maybe let's just set this back up. Display that. And as far as the VDB here, is it showing it to me? What's happening? Hmm. I don't know. I'll fix this another time. But anyways, all right. I'll save the construction and